people coming in now.
Hey Nick, we just have to make sure that everybody can get into this room.
Oh, it's just my daughter.
Oh, okay.
She's fine.
Not just yours. But there's more chairs here.
Okay, we'll call this meeting to order. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's township meeting, June 10th, 2024. We have agendas up at the podium if anybody needs a copy of tonight's agenda. In attendance, we have Supervisor Erler, Supervisor Ekman, and I'm Supervisor Birmingham. So we do have a quorum for tonight's meeting. Absent is Supervisor Friedman and Supervisor Albert. Have the supervisors in attendance seen tonight's agenda?
Yes.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make the motion to approve the agenda.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. I'll now open it up for public comment. Public comment is 3 minutes. The timer's right up here. I just ask you to come up to the podium, state your name and address, and then the clock will start. You got 3 minutes. Jim, you're up.
Yep, Jim Merklinger, 750 Creek Road. John, I would ask you if we can give Nick some bite in cleaning up the township. Okay, one example here is 2247, right on Ridge Road behind the daycare there. That barn is garbage. Okay, you got rats running in and out of it. He can come over and say whatever he wants. We have given him no bites. You have Mr. Karasak here, great lawyer. Can we get 5 or laws, whatever they are, to clean up the yards? You drive over the bridge from Portland. You have abandoned trucks. You have houses that are just not kept up. Whether they're slumlords, whether the people just not doing it. You guys have bigger things with these big box clubs. Nick can't go over by Mincy Lake and walk on property of people that make it look like garbage because of lawyers. Okay, we can't have this here. Okay, we all pay a lot of taxes. You guys all take care of your houses, it's all your castles. You need to get rid of your zoning officer. Useless in these things. I have to call her, I have to write a statement, I have to show up to Judge Zito. It doesn't have to be like that. Okay, he needs to have laws that come up and he says, hey, unregistered cars. Okay? I would suggest fines of $250 every time. I consider them grooming standards. Front of your house has to be done. Anything you want to keep in the back, put a fence there. I won't say anything. But in front of your house, that's it. And every dollar we make on this goes to the park. Every dollar. This way you guys can vote on it. You put it into the newsletter and say these are what we consider at Upper Mount Bethel the basics. No abandoned cars in the front. Okay, no garbage in the front. Okay, you have to upkeep in your house. Farms, businesses, that's a whole different situation. Older people in our community that just can't get to it, we have the Boy Scouts, we have the Girl Scouts, we have the Civil Air Patrol that need volunteer hours for the kids. Now that's something Nick's going to have to look into for insurance reasons. But you gotta do something for us here. Okay, you can drive down, get a cup of coffee, I'll take you to 15, 25 houses where people just don't give a crap. Okay, across the street on Creek Road, down the street on Creek Road, okay, Mincy Lake. Is this what we want to do? You guys, I see up by Saddlebrook, beautiful houses. I see individual people here having beautiful houses, and next door to them is garbage. We call Nick, you got to call Tina. Oh, we have to do that. We don't need her at all. We don't need to pay that bill. We need to pass legislation that he can walk by and say, $250 fine. You go in front of Judge Zito and you explain what happened. That's all I have for you. I really wish you guys would do this because it's getting worse and worse and worse, and the township's going to suffer for it.
Thanks, Jim.
Okay.
I appreciate it. Nick, do you have a list of those addresses? Jim?
I mean, a lot of what Jim is talking about is, I'm not gonna mention names here, but,
Please don't.
there are pre-existing situations when I was property manager, but I'm not the property manager anymore.
Right,
I'm the township manager.
right.
So everything falls on Tina's lap, and Tina doesn't live here, so she'll call me, and I'll try to get, Jim, has been patient with me too, because I'll try to get the properties that he's saying, I'll knock on the door, but that's about all I can do.
But we pay Tina, right?
Oh, yeah.
See, I don't want the township to spend any money. I want all the money he can get to go to our park. You guys have made a beautiful park up there. Let's add to it. Put it out that anything that comes under these 5 ordinances, these 5 fines, every dollar does not come anywhere near the politicians. It goes to the park. I would like a public pool. I would like you to find everybody, make this a beautiful town like Basking Ridge or Bernardsville, and put a municipal pool in there. That would be my dream. But just give him teeth so he can walk up and say, $250 fine, I'm changing anything on my front yard if you do that. That's all I'm asking.
Ron, you see any legal issues here?
From what I'm hearing, it appears that these are issues regarding the property maintenance code, that the properties are not being properly maintained as per the code. I don't know the other ordinances off the top of my head for abandoned vehicles or those kinds of things. But you need to have Tina cite, unfortunately, that's the Constitution. You need to give someone due process, which is notice and opportunity to be heard before you can start fining them or doing whatever. So she has to cite them, and then there could be hearings held before District Judge Zito, and then she would have to go to those hearings and prove the case. And if there are witnesses like Mr. Merklinger could come and also offer testimony, etc. But that's what needs to be done. And it can be done if, in fact, Tina has the time and energy to want to do that.
Is there any way to take it out of her hands and put it into the townships?
Well, that really is the township's hands. Under the code, she's the code enforcement officer. So unless they appoint a new code enforcement officer, and you may have the same issues with a new person or not, who knows. But you need to have a code enforcement officer do that now. If they want to say, okay, let's have the township manager do that, I'd have to check to see if in fact there's a potential conflict as his position as township manager and a code enforcement officer. But that can be done. You can appoint someone else in addition to her with respect to these matters if the board believes it wants to. Or in place of her, either in addition or in place of.
Just as you guys look around, I mean, it's a beautiful town.
Yeah.
Let's keep it up, and
Okay.
thank you.
Like Ron says, John, there's laws in place, the property maintenance laws are in place, and we have adopted them, and they're in place, but what Ron also says is due process. And I'll give you, for instance, on 611, there's a new building there. That almost took 1.5 years for me to get that person out of that property. It's just a process, and a lot of people understand that process. If you're not in the system, which we're all in the system, it takes time. You have to give people the time, and if people are making progress moving forward, you can't take them to Judge Zito and say, hey, they're not doing anything, they're not, but they are. She's going to send you right back out there and say, listen, keep doing what you're doing to get to that point. You run into people that don't have money, like Jim mentioned, they don't have the funding, and we try to help people get their lawns cut, things like that we could do. To find people that will volunteer their time and give back to the community. But it is a process, but being in that job for almost 2 years, I know the process and how to work it, but it is time. It's a lot of time. It's time consuming, and people that you're charging, they have rights also. So, and you have to go through that process. So, regardless of like Ron is saying, if you get somebody else to do it, or you get me to do it, the process still exists. That's not going away. So, just to give you food for thought.
But I don't see anything, and I don't know if Nick has been there, and I don't know when the other supervisor. Nothing's being done on these. I mean, I can run around on Sunday and take you week by week pictures and send them to you. if you could just call them and get them, the dump truck right here when you come over Portland Bridge, it's been sitting there, there's trees growing out of it. So that's not somebody that wants to do anything. And if somebody's trying to do something, God bless them, it's their house. I work a long job, you come home with your hours. But you drive around in these things, there's garbage on the houses, nobody's picking them up. And it's just gonna tear our township down. I mean, I know you have the other stuff coming in, which people are complaining about, but when somebody comes over the bridge, and this house looks abandoned, and this is, what are we gonna sell later on?
Can you get a list of addresses?
Absolutely.
And send them to Nick?
Yep,
Send them
okay.
to Nick, and Nick, you share them with the supervisor.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's
Yes.
great, yes, I'll get it for you. Thank you.
Any questions?
Did someone take over as property manager? You said.
No, when I became township manager, the agreement that we had was that I would help Tina to go to a property, like Jim was saying, and take a picture, knock on the door. Usually I know these people, so and I'll forward that information to Tina. But Tina is very adamant about that you need to fill out a request for action form, because we need to cover the township's responsibility. We just can't be targeting people, so we need to have that done. And there are situations where Jim mentioned that there's been lawyers involved, and there's one property that is kind of hurting us because we can't do anything to that person, because it would cost a lot of money for us to do it. You can do anything. We can hire a lawyer, we can hire Ron to do the due process and go through, but it's going to cost a lot of money to do it, because we tried, and then lawyers got involved.
Okay.
And that property is very prominent. A lot of people pass it and they all make complaints, but nobody wants to fill out a request for action. I think Jim said he did with Ed, but I don't know anything.
Ed squashed it. Ed squashed it because Ed said he's gonna deal with it. And then you know what Ed did. Okay, so
Yeah.
I was running 2 years with Ed. You say something to him, I couldn't talk to you, I can't talk to him, I couldn't talk to anybody. Now Nick is an open book. That's why I'm here to do it. Okay, and I'm not asking for the township to pay any money. I would like this to be in an ideal world where you could go up and give somebody a notice and they do that. It's probably not gonna happen. But Nick's position was not filled. And I know we have budgetary constraints and I'm not looking for that, but we need somebody other than somebody that's billing you, a zoning officer that's billing you for every minute to have somebody to come in here. It's only to do better for the township.
Okay, yeah, so get those
Yep, I'll get it for
addresses
you.
and then we'll talk from there.
Okay.
You got it.
All right, thanks. Anybody else, public comment? Bob?
Thank you, John. Robert Teal, 2424 North Delaware Drive, Mount Bethel, Pennsylvania. I came tonight because I want to talk to you about particularly one thing on your agenda, and that's the Act 537. Over the years, and I think I know what I'm talking about in this respect, over the years, I have raised millions of dollars for cancer, cystic fibrosis, and many other charities along the way. I've never had to do anything for my own town, except be chairman of the board of your planning commission. And I've seen the demise of our town for generations. We have been eating and drinking our own waste on 611. Nothing has been done about it. We talk about an Act 537, doing a feasibility study. We already did that years ago, and Justin
Hey, Bob, sorry, 1 second. If we could just have quiet while Mr. Teal is making his statement. If anybody has to,
Well, it's pretty hard to have quiet when you have people that can't find a seat. This should have been moved to the
if
front.
anybody has anything to say, please go out in the hallway. Sorry, Bob, carry
You want me
on.
to speak a little louder?
That would help.
I can do that.
Thanks.
It's an occupational hazard of mine. Over the years, I've been saying we have a real problem in this town with water and sewer. If you look around at the communities around us, there is a reason that they have water and sewer. They don't want to eat and drink their own stuff. Portland, Water Gap, Bangor, East Bangor, Rosetta, they all surround us. But where the hell do they get their water from? Upper Mount Bethel Township. We have 5 water companies, I believe, in Upper Mount Bethel, but we don't have it ourselves, except for Smittens down there into Mount Bethel off the Portland border. Please, get this passed so that we can at least address the serious problem of Route 611. I'm not asking you to supply water and sewer to everybody in the township. I know that's not feasible. So at least you can do that. Have something, have the courage to step forward and say, we need potable water and sanitary sewer for 611. This is something we need. One more thing, I'll touch base in 38 seconds I got, and I can see a clock. Before the last election, I reached out to you, John Birmingham, and said that I would like to have a meeting. I proposed a meeting between you, Hector, and myself to sit down, and you know that's the truth, John, to sit down and talk about maybe finding some common ground. Instead of lawsuits or everything else, I said I can arrange this meeting, and please let's sit down and have some common ground or some civil talk. You turned it down. At first you said yes, and then you turned it down. I hope you reconsider.
Thank you, Bob. Anyone else, public comment? Yeah, come on. Jeff.
All right, in keeping with the 611 bashing, I'm going to carry on with that. Jeff Williams, 732 South Delaware, Stone Church. I live directly on 611 between Orchard and Centerville. My home is literally 6 feet from the edge. I measured it. So speeding on 611, let me give you some context. I work from home a lot. Multiple times a day, my entire home shakes. Then it shakes again. It's not an earthquake, it's traffic. Add that to the tractor-trailer engine brake noise. This section of 611 is an echo chamber. The half-mile section of 611 that I'm concerned with is delineated by two of our infamous speed radar signs, one northbound, one southbound. Each day, an average of 3,000 vehicles pass these signs, the peak time being around 4 p.m. These vehicles frequently exceed 50 miles an hour. One even made it to 100. How do I know? I got the records from the speed radar signs. They report the count of vehicles that pass, the time of day, and the speed of each one. We no longer pay for the reports or data, but we have access to the data from April 2024, and the numbers are sobering. According to the signs, April 2024 saw 91,987 vehicles on the half-mile stretch between the signs and Stone Church. 26,306 were at or below the speed limit. That means 72% of them were speeding. The signs also reported more than 11,000 vehicles exceeding 50 miles an hour, and 27 were going between 80 and 95. This is a 35-mile-an-hour zone with houses everywhere. Unfortunately, this data isn't being used as far as I know, and I understand why. I'm not casting any blame here. So I'm here to ask you, the supervisors, to do something. This is a dangerous area. Aside from the shaking of our homes as the large trucks pass and the disruption of a mostly quiet life, I'll give you an example. The corner of 611 in Orchard has had no fewer than 3 utility poles replaced in the last 2 years because cars hit them. I've seen all 3. When 611 is blocked by delivery trucks, things get really dicey. There's no shoulder in most of the area. Here's some ideas. PennDOT has automated speeding ticket trailers. They're portable. They use them all over construction areas along the interstates. I know they give out tickets. I got one. It was just a warning, thankfully. Clearly they work. So what I'm suggesting is we get a few for 611. I realize they're part of the Work Zone Speed Safety Cameras program, but we can at least ask. Maybe the Pennsylvania State Police have some that, we could borrow. I'd also like to see us get access to the radar sign data. I know we don't pay for the reports, but I know for a fact that we can get that data from them ourselves. I'm happy to collect this myself so we can use it to our advantage. These signs are the only things that are watching the roads 24/7. We could petition the Pennsylvania State Police to camp out on 611 for a week, a month. Can I get a little longer?
Yeah, go. Finish up.
The police are welcome to use my driveway. I'll even serve drinks and provide access to the bathroom. I'm certain the number of tickets written would more than pay for any additional policing or an additional officer. I know my little section of 611 isn't alone in this. This could be a test case for other roads or other sections of 611 in the township. We have speed radar signs in 4 other locations. I'm happy to do the legwork to help this along, but I need your buy-in. Thanks.
Thank you, Jeff. Question?
Are we allowed to make any, like sign changes or anything to a state road or something? No.
When I talked to PennDOT about that, they said there's a process for doing that. Or we can talk to them
You know
about
who you
it.
spoke to, Jeff?
I sent an email in about the speeding issue, and they gave me a song and dance about the township needs to provide proper speed limit signs, and I'm like, we did. And then I asked them for whatever forms are needed to get a proper traffic study done by them. I'm hoping we'll get something back on that.
Jeff, why don't we have a meeting, you, Nick, and then we'll figure out which supervisor will kind of take the lead on this. And then, let's talk about it more. Charlie, did you want to say something?
I think Charles Cole, 6 Riverton Road. John was the connection, the liaison between the Lower Mount Bethel Township, Upper Mount Bethel Township Be Safe Committee. We had probably about 15 members on it, and it was a work in frustration. We went on, and I know the people in Martins Creek were very active. Up here, we were active, but the state police don't have enough manpower, and PennDOT is PennDOT.
Yeah, they weren't too helpful.
So, no. Jeff, if you would like to pick up on that committee and carry it on, I think we as a group, I still have the listserv, would be very, very happy and love to have you do that.
Be open to that. Yeah, give me the
Yeah,
details.
why don't you two get in touch with each other? Jeff will serve drinks, and he can use his bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah, are you making a public comment, Fran?
What else am I gonna do?
Okay, I didn't know if you were adding to the discussion.
Well,
or-
yeah, sort of, because I live on 611 right by the bridge. And I mean, some of those cars are still thinking they're on 80. And it's really getting really bad. I mean, we have the dump trucks, tractor trailers. Tractor trailers are digging up the properties alongside the road because they're not driving on the road. And as you know, I have to cross the street. And I mean, something has to be done. They need to make the speed limit lower. I mean, I used to see a cop car right after you come up the Portland Bridge, before you get away from that island. They used to sit there and catch quite a few people, but I haven't seen a cop car in a long time. So they feel, well, let's go. I'm still on 80,
Yeah.
and really, it's getting dangerous. It is, especially when you have to cross the road.
Thank you, Fran. And there is, next,
You're gonna have to work fast.
No, have you come get my mail?
next Tuesday, a week from tomorrow, June 18th, at 6 p.m., right here at the Township Building, we're having a presentation on local truck traffic. It's being presented by the State Board Association of Boroughs. They've presented in Lower Mount Bethel, and now they're coming to Upper Mount Bethel, so it's going to be here. That is Tuesday, June 18th, from 6 to 8 p.m.
6 or 7?
6. He's going to do an hour presentation from 6 to 7, and then answer questions from 7 to 8. Oh, we might do it in the garage.
Yes.
Oh, then it'll be in the garage. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Nick, we'll need it to be set up for a PowerPoint presentation.
We have the screen in there, is that big enough?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yes. No, 6. 6 to 8. So if anybody wants to come, the public's invited to attend.
Fran and Jeff actually brought up a good point about, because we spoke to the chief from the state police, that email they sent back to us, that it was tough. It was tough. Fran, if you want, and you brought it, and Jeff actually brought it up too, there's no place where especially where you are, it's very difficult for the state police to stage there, just because of the demographics there. It's hard for them to sit, they can't sit on the side of the road because they'll be in the road. But Jeff brought a good
They
point
can't
that.
use driveways with permission.
Well, right, so Jeff brought up a good point. So like if people are willing to do that, I could offer that to them and say, hey, listen, these 3 addresses here are willing to give them permission to stay on there. I could throw them an email on that, because that was one of his points. We did mention, John, we sent an email to him, and he did respond quickly, but again, this, like Charlie said, that they're shorthanded. That's the excuse, and they
We
are.
could pay for another officer with the tickets.
What's that?
We could pay for another officer with those tickets.
Oh, with those tickets, yeah.
If they are short-staffed, perhaps the automated ticket machine might be, if they have one available.
I mean, that's work zone, so I don't know, I've never seen that like
And
sitting in a
it's
public.
hard.
Those are specific for the work zones, but they're available elsewhere.
It's not.
The company that made the speeding signs, they made the trailers.
So you're saying like a community can buy one and use it, and how
I
to
don't know if they
reinforce,
could-
that would be something
I don't know if they
that
could give
Ron
out
would have to-
tickets.
I
but-
take cars, because my daughter says there's a car, a police car that's there,
Right,
that's catching those people. It's
Yeah.
not going after them, but it's catching them, and I guess the thing is on the
well, they have no
car
problem
itself.
catching, because everyone's speeding, I was pulling out over here, and I couldn't believe how fast this triaxle was
Well,
flying.
you figure how,
Never in my life
and
seen
I gotta
that.
go on that highway just to get out of my house.
Yeah, no, I know, Frank, I know where you live, it's tough.
Yeah, so Nick, if you can get the addresses, that'd be
Yeah, if
great.
you guys wanna send me, Jeff has my email, but Fran, if you wanna, you give me your address, and if you're willing to do that, I
Yeah,
can.
yeah,
I
they'll
don't know if they would-
notify me the day before, right?
I don't know if they would need a waiver or something, but I'm sure that you guys would sign it.
Oh, yeah, just to.
All right,
get
I'll
the
mention
speed
it to him and
limit
see what he
down.
says. I'll mention.
Okay. All right, well, welcome to Comedy Hour. Anybody else, public comment? You want to come up, Ron?
Good evening. I'd like to talk a little more about the big picture here and not the small picture. People are wanting things, and the money is being spent here, by the way, folks, on legal bills. Legal bills is generating nothing to fix any of the problems that people are complaining about. River Point is industrial. It's been industrial for as long as I can remember. You people up front got elected on a platform. You were going to stop warehouses and truck traffic. That's what got you elected. You can deny that, but I've been around here quite a while. That's what got you elected. Well, what you created now is a situation, because you're fighting your own municipal sewer and water authority, which could have provided sewer and water, which could have provided manufacturing jobs, which would have been good. That's what people are looking for. Some good paying jobs in our area, which we don't have. But you didn't want that. So the end result for people who think all this is something different than what it is, the end result here will be, if they don't have a municipal sewer and water plant and an operation, it's probably going to be warehouses and truck traffic. And that's what people didn't want. Those signs you put up going to stop the truck traffic, you actually are creating the platform that you ran on, you're creating the opposite. But I want to talk about where your money's going. People should know where the money goes in this township. For instance, there's no such thing in the second-class township code that refers to special counsel. It refers to a solicitor. You could have an alternate solicitor. You have a special counsel. You never tell us what the special counsel is going to do and what he's going to pay for. You've recently been sued. Okay, and frankly, you belong to be sued. I'd be curious to know how you answer the lawsuit, by the way, based on what the lawsuit is. So you've had the money that you could have done some of these things people are talking about. I thought Mr. Erler, for instance, was going to go down to talk to River Point to see what could be done about maybe getting manufacturing jobs and whatever. Evidently that wasn't done. So the end result here is, what's that?
I did go down there.
Well, the last time I asked you this, what did you accomplish? Thank you, you gave me the answer. I knew what the answer would be already, nothing. Anyway, the long and short of it here is that you're spending the money. right and left. Your legal bills are gonna go up, up, and up, okay? And that's not what the township should be doing as a second-class township. But again, I think the highlight of the lunacy that you've done lately is you've spent these people's money. You've hired a special counsel to go to the zoning hearing board meetings to represent you, because you certainly don't represent me or us, to represent you, to have opposition to the zoning hearing board, which has their own solicitor, and it's a duly appointed zoning hearing board that you put into place. So I'm going to give my 5 seconds back to you, by the way. But people ought to know what really goes on here, and I think a lot of them are single-issue people, and they don't know the big picture, what really is going on here. But I can guarantee you this, you will have a tax increase next year. It's not a question if you will, it's how much it will be, because they're spending your money not on providing the things you'd like to see, but on their mission, and they do have a mission. It's not your mission, by the way, it's their personal
Thank you.
mission. Thank you.
Anyone else,
Excuse
public
me,
comment?
sir. Can I just get your name for the record? Everybody knows.
I'm still Ron Angle, $52 million highway.
Anyone else, public comment? Marty?
Marty Penner, 39 Lindsay Lane. I think Ron hits a good point. Those of you may remember I was on the board when we did the budget for this year. I know where all that money was allocated to. I know where it wasn't allocated to. So I would like to know where all the money is for these lawsuits, because it wasn't budgeted. And if it was moved from one fund to another, who approved that? Certainly wasn't done in front of the public. Anybody have an answer for that?
I'd like to hear that one.
Nothing's been moved for the lawsuits as of yet.
As of yet. So you're saying there will be?
Oh, I can't answer that, that's up to the board more,
But you're
you
saying
made an
yet.
accusation that we moved funding for, the budgeted is still the budgeted for solicitor, for the zoning officer, that funding.
But there was no budget for special counsel?
No, there was none.
So where did that money come from?
It's coming from the lawyer's fund, which is Ron's fund, that's where it's coming from right now. I mean, because in actuality, he is the alternate, correct?
Except for the lawsuit that you were served.
Yeah,
He's
that,
special counsel.
Yeah.
That's the term they use, special counsel.
it's the same person that we're talking about, though, correct?
But he's not an alternate solicitor?
No.
He's not, he's the alternate solicitor.
Ron, why
He is not.
don't you step in?
So my question.
I might be wrong.
But even with that, my question is to Ron, he's the solicitor of the township, why isn't he taking up this lawsuit?
Ron, go ahead and give
that's
your
the board.
response to
Yeah.
Marty.
First of all, I'm not sure how the township may classify Attorney Cousins, but I classify him as an alternate solicitor. And the reason being is that this board is taking a position opposite to the board that it had before with respect to some of these RPL matters. It could very well be that I may be called as a witness in those cases. I may have to testify in those cases, and if so, it's impossible for me to obviously represent the township and also be a witness in a case. And that's why I recommended that the township secure an alternate solicitor to handle matters in which I may have a conflict or a potential conflict. So that's what occurred there. It was at my suggestion. Where the money comes from, now if you look at the bill for this month, for me, it's probably the lowest it's ever been because you have the other fellow doing the work, so hopefully it will balance out. But I can't say that for sure, and obviously when it comes to the budget time, you may have to make some additional ideas. Would I like to continue to represent the township in these various items of litigation? Sure I would. Over the last 26 years, I maybe lost one case out of all the cases I've handled for the township. But I just don't want to have the township in a position of now being jammed because the attorney who's handling the matter can't handle the matter, and now you're scrambling around at the last minute to get someone as opposed to someone who can follow the case through. So whether or not that was a good recommendation by me or not, I don't know, but that was the recommendation.
Thank you, Ron.
And the special counsel's cost is how much more than Ron's?
I believe it's $30 more an hour. I'm at $135 an hour. I believe that Mr. Cousins is $165 an hour.
Even,
I don't.
even
160.
litigation cost is the same?
That I don't know.
Yeah, there hasn't been,
160 all around.
yeah, there hasn't been a change in
My
his
fee
fee from
is-
either or.
My fee is the same no matter
Yeah.
what. Now,
Yep.
whether or not he has a higher
No,
fee
it's the
for
same fee.
litigation or not.
It's the same fee.
Well, they would know that, so.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, and then with the speeding, now that you guys closed the case with the union and the folks from the old police force, I mean, we can start it up again now. We don't have to worry about any hiring old officers or anything else than that.
Just a little
So
pension,
let's start up. You got the pension regardless, which, when it's done, which there's over $750,000 in the pension, that will go back to the state. The town will not get it.
Yeah.
So use it for something.
Thank you. Anyone else, public comment? Bill?
Bill Hall, Jacoby Run Road, Upper Mount Bethel Township. I just want to go back to something I mentioned at a couple meetings. In fact, Mr. Teal alluded to it briefly earlier, which is that we get into these meetings and it starts to spiral and we get off point and off focus. I really do believe, as we discussed, we need to sit down and start fresh. Start with, look for what common ground there may be. And I guarantee you, there'll be some common ground in the future of this township and what we need to do to continue to go forth in the right way for everybody. And the reason I say that we need a separate meeting and to start that and to have some people doing it is because all these meetings, they just start to spiral out of control, and then we're going down this road, we're going down that road, and there's all kinds of agendas that are being put forth, where if we sit down and the clear goal of the meeting to start with is to look for common ground, that should be the first meeting. And then we find out where that could be, what flexibility there might be, because again, as I've told you before, you know, I know how we are here and how we feel, pretty much everybody. I come to these meetings, I know what I believe, but I've also talked to the Pectors and Lou Pector and Ashley Development, and I know where they're flexible on some things, but I don't believe they're being heard. So again, I'd suggest that we just establish something that's representative of both sides, but we have to have those people coming in with a clear and open mind right from the start.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
Anyone else, public comment? Okay, moving on. Resolution 2014-12, sorry. Got in a fight with the microphone. Is Dustin Flight and Garrett Zazalak here?
They're both here.
And Garrett, where are you? Right there, great, thanks. These gentlemen were involved in a situation not too long ago and really showed the signs of what a hero is all about. And Dustin, I asked you if you could please just come up to the podium and speak to what happened that day.
Yeah, so me and Garrett were fishing. We decided to leave, and as we were leaving, we rolled up on a house, a trailer, and there was a guy on fire. So we quick got out of the car and put him out. And then Garrett started to do first aid on him, and we proceeded to call the fire company. They came, and that's pretty much what happened.
And you've spoken to the individual. In fact, you basically talked to him in the hospital.
Yes, yes.
And how's he doing?
He was doing pretty well. I haven't spoken to him recently. I believe he's out of the hospital now. So.
And Tom Stock?
Yes.
Tom, you're Matt's brother, right?
Yes.
If you could come up to the podium, if you don't mind. And just give us
I'm
an
not
update.
big with public speaking, but
That's okay.
yeah, I never met these individuals, and I'd like to thank you, for helping my brother out. Man, you guys are awesome. I'm sorry. And yeah, I heard about this. He was in the hospital for about a month. He's out now. He's doing well. We have to take him back Wednesday, or Thursday, actually. Yeah, he got burned up pretty bad, and it's kind of heartbreaking,
Yeah, we'll let him know that our prayers and thoughts are with him.
All right.
And if the township can do anything, we're happy to do what we can. I really appreciate you coming
All
out,
right.
Tom.
Yeah,
There
thank
are
you.
families too as well.
All right.
The Blake family, and I'm sure the Zazelaks feel the same way.
Right.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you,
Thanks
thank you
for
very
coming,
much. So I just want, the township would like to present these resolutions to Dustin and Garrett, and Upper Mount Bethel Township wants to recognize these two individuals for their heroic effort, their selflessness, and saving of a human life. So resolution number 2024-12 goes to Dustin and Garrett. And guys, let me deliver those to you, and thank you very much for saving that man's life. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, moving onward. Roman numeral number 5, consent agenda. Under the consent agenda, we have the May 13th, 2024 meeting minutes, the May 23rd, 2024 special meeting minutes, and exonerations and refunds.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make the motion to approve the consent agenda.
Do we have a second?
I will second that motion.
Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 3-0. Next up is the financials. Nick?
Yes, Mr. Chair. In the general fund, spent $241,486.05. The interim bills were $7,579.53. The rec fund was $7,494.47. Road machinery fund was $3,020. The capital reserve fund, we spent $267,598. That was part of the truck deal for the 6 trucks that we have. The EIT's open space was $3,571.45. Open space capital reserve saldo, $57. And then escrow funds for RPO Planned Industrial Park West, $6,219.75. And then Philip Jones Minor Subdivision is $452.25. The duct lot line adjustment is $377 for a total of $537.85. Let me take that back, $537,855.50. And Mr. Chair, just approval for pay the bills.
Okay, do we have a motion to pay the bill list, unless there's any questions?
I'll make a motion to approve the bills.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Roman numeral number 7, subdivisions, Philip Jones Minor Subdivision.
I'll take care of that with your permission, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
This matter has been given conditional, preliminary, and final plan approval by way of a subdivision by the Township Planning Commission However, before we get to that approval, we need to look at the saldo waivers, because if for some reason the saldo waivers are not granted, then the conditional approval obviously would not be able to be proceeding. So, the first saldo waiver that is noted there, and there are letters in which we have received these requests, so that letter is part of the township file. The saldo waiver for that section,
Are you looking at,
I'm looking at subdivision here, number 1, Philip Jones, sub A, saldo waiver, section 400.1.
oh, right here?
4.1.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
That's okay. Requires that all lots abut a street. However, the Township Planning Commission recommends that this be modified in as much as there are 3 lots here, Lot 1A, Lot 1B, Lot 1C. Lot 1C is given access via a 33-foot access easement, and the Township Planning Commission recommends that that waiver be granted, especially since after the 3 years are up in this matter, all those 3 lots are going to be combined again into one piece. The reason they're being done in a 3-year period is that they're trying to avoid the rollback taxes that would be part of this project. So they're recommending that saldo waiver not really be a waiver, but it be modified, that the access for Lot 1C is through a 33-foot access easement from Lot 1A to Lot 1C.
Okay, so we need a motion to approve the saldo waiver request.
That is correct.
Okay. Justin, any thoughts?
No, we were in approval of that as well, regarding the access easement, as Mr. Karasik stated, so.
Okay.
It's basically a temporary condition anyway, so we were agreeing with that.
Okay. Any questions from the supervisors? Okay, do you want, can we do the saldo waiver requests for all in one motion?
It'd be easier just to one at a time.
Okay.
Only because it keeps the record cleaner.
Okay. So we need a motion for section 400.4.1.
I'll make the motion to give the salvo waiver for 400.4.1 for Philip Jones.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, next we need a motion for, to approve waiver request for section 400.4.5.
That is correct, Mr. Chair, and that section requires any newly proposed lots have both a fully tested and approved primary and replacement absorption area for on-lot sanitary sewage. In this particular case, again, the Planning Commission is recommending that this waiver be approved, and again, as much as the lots are all temporary, there's not going to be a house put on Lot 1A or Lot 1B or Lot 1C, where you would need that extra backup to make sure that there is enough room in a lot to have a on-lot system, on-lot sanitary system. So that being said, they are recommending that that saldo waiver be approved. And I think that, again, this was discussed at Planning Commission, and that our illustrious township engineer may have some comments on it if you'd like to ask.
Sure, Justin?
Yes, we were in support of the waiver for the fully tested and approved primary and replacement absorption area. This specifically dealt, there's numerous notes on the plan about these lots are being approved as a non-building lot. So it's an unusual situation. As Mr. Karasik stated, it's basically to mitigate or eliminate the rollback taxes. So for this temporary condition, we felt that this was adequate. So we supported the waiver.
Okay, thank you, Justin. Any questions? Okay, do we have a motion to approve waiver request for section 400.4.5?
I'll make, I'll make the motion to approve section 400.4.5, the salvo waiver for the Joneses minor subdivision.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. And then the last one that we'll need a motion for is section 302.4.7.9.
That is correct, Mr. Chair, and that section of our saldo requires that there be a driveway location noted for each lot. Surprisingly, the township saldo doesn't really say that. The township saldo simply says that there has to be a note on the plan that a driveway will be approved and designed and built to PennDOT standards. So technically, there's no requirement that each lot have its own driveway, but more importantly, in this particular case, the Township Planning Commission is recommending a waiver because, again, these three lots will be consolidated and merged at the end of the 3 years, and there is already an existing driveway that would access those lots.
Okay. Do we have a motion?
Does this even need a motion?
Yeah, because right now the township engineer put that in his review letter, so we should make sure that we have that taken care of.
Justin, anything you want to add to this?
Two of the three lots this pertains to. The one lot, lot 1A, shows the driveway, and then the other lots, 1B and 1C, which are approved as non-building lots. There's just an additional covenant on the land. Lots 1A, 1B, and 1C are to be considered temporary lots until they can be rejoined into one residential building lot. Individually, these three temporary lots are not approved as building lots and shall be conveyed to the same party over a period of 3 calendar years. So based upon this temporary condition and what was stated, yes, we believe that we recommended a waiver of the driveway location for the lots, the 2 lots.
Okay, do we have a motion for waiver request, a motion to approve waiver request for section 302.4.7.9?
I'll make it for 302.4.7.9.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. And then we have resolution 2024-13. Anything you want to say on that, Ron?
Yes, Mr. Chair, with your permission. Normally, as you may recall, generally the township doesn't enter into formal resolutions to approve plans. Most of the time there are extensions that have been granted, and the extension form says that the applicant waives the manner and method of approving the plan, etc. However, in this case, that extension was not secured, and more importantly, the township wanted to be assured that what they said they were going to do is in fact what they're doing. So in this particular matter, I'm just going to read a few sections of the paragraph with respect to the resolution, and you will see that I'm also requesting that Mr. Jones sign this resolution so he can't later get amnesia, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but that he remembers in fact what was done here. So you'll see on page 4 there's a place for him to sign along with the signature for the supervisor. So if you're going to approve this resolution, I would say to you that you approve it on condition that Mr. Jones also signs. So this resolution basically says that these are properties on Hayden Road. It's approximately 5.9712 acres that the developer intends to subdivide the parcel into 3 temporary lots designated as Lot 1A, which is 2 acres, Lot 1B, which is 1.6 acres, and Lot 1C consisting of 1.9 acres. Lot 1B and 1C have water and wetland constraints such that they appear to be unbuildable, and no buildings, sanitary, septic, or water wells are depicted on said lots, and Lot 1C is landlocked. The 3 lots are not intended to be buildable lots, but are to be conveyed over a 3-year calendar period, 1 lot per year, so that the owner will not violate the existing rollback tax restrictions on properties as a result of them being in Act 319. And these lots, upon being conveyed to the same owner or party, will be consolidated into 1 lot by a joinder or merger deed approved by the township, and without any anticipated additional sanitary sewage flows, and that the salvo waivers that you just reviewed also would be granted. So that is basically the resolution, and I'm asking that the board consider approving that resolution on condition of Mr. Jones's counter signature to it. And this was suggested by the applicant's planning professional, I believe it, Mr. Policelli, and he said, well, we should have a formal agreement. I don't think we need a formal agreement. We have a resolution that says all the terms we've just said. You signed it and he signs it, it's effectively an agreement anyway. And it complies more, it's more consistent with the municipality's planning code. So.
Okay. Any questions from the supervisors? Do we have a motion to pass resolution number 2024-13 based upon the condition this resolution is signed by Mr. Philip M. Jones?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Roman numeral number 8, resolution 2024-11, liquor license transfer. Ron?
Yes, if you recall, Mr. Chair, there was a hearing held for the potential transfer of a restaurant liquor license from an establishment in Bethlehem to the Penn Jersey Mini Mart, I'll call it, here at Five Points intersection. The township did not approve of that transfer, and as would be expected, the township was promptly sued, and now we are involved in a lawsuit with respect to that item. My direction was to talk with the opposing counsel and see if a resolution could be reached as to how this matter could be settled. I did speak with counsel, and I do believe we have a settlement that is a reasonable one that would solve this matter and get rid of the lawsuit and, of course, save township time, money, etc. Now, I see that because this is a potential settlement of a lawsuit, you might want all 5 supervisors here to act on it rather than just 3 of you. That's your call. But if you would want to act on it tonight, I would ask for a brief executive session to tell you what exactly are the terms of the settlement that I discussed with the other lawyer. And if you'd rather put it over to the 4th Monday meeting, you can do that too. So.
Yeah,
I
I
would
would
say. Are we
say,
entitled to know what the settlement is?
hold on a second, Ron. I would say we wait for all the supervisors to come back, since this is a settlement. Ron hasn't briefed us on the terms yet, or the discussion, so my thought is to table this until the 24th.
And now you tie him up another month. And you should have not tied him up to start with.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion to table resolution 2024-11 until the 24th when all members are here.
Okay, I'll second that. Any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Roman numeral number 9, material bids. Nick?
Yes, Mr. Chair, we mentioned at the last meeting that we were going to put out another bid for materials. We did get another bid, just one, from Heidelberg Materials Northeast LLC. After reviewing the bid, we found that most of the items that we have on this bid we can get cheaper using co-stars. So we discussed this with, actually Ron was involved with Kevin O'Connell, he's our representative from PennDOT and from PSATs, and we could discard the bid, or we could select which items we want, and that's what we want to do. We want to approve item number 5 on the bid, which is approximately 2,000 ton of anti-skid type AS3, and it's at the unit price of $20 per ton, which is a total of $40,000 if we use it all, if we purchase it all, and then if we get it delivered, it's $28.72 per ton delivered, with a total amount, if we get the 2,000 ton, of $57,440. After reviewing all of the bids and the anti-skid in our area that we can get, some don't have it, and it's an important item that we use for our winter maintenance. So we decided to select and keep that bid and discard all the others.
And this is Heidelberg,
Heidelberg, the materials, they're in Monroe County.
and you need an approval for this.
Yes, we need approval to accept this, and then we'll contact the vendor.
Any questions from the supervisors?
Would we be picking it up or having it delivered?
If we do get the triaxle, which we should get it by the end of the summer, we're probably gonna pick up most of it.
Does that include the toll?
Yeah. What's that?
The toll cost?
No, we're not gonna, we're gonna go up 33. We're not gonna go over the toll. That's
How
not
much more
feasible.
fuel is that gonna cost?
It's pretty much the same distance. So it's, we'll save the, I don't know what a triaxle is, I know the dual is like $35. So.
You're gonna go through Bangor,
No, we're gonna go up 33, they're on that end, they're on the south, they're on that end of, they're on the west end of Strasburg, so it's closer actually to 33. So if you go over the bridge and go around and across, it's more time consuming and costly.
So that's more truck traffic on the road for the people who didn't want truck traffic.
Okay.
Isn't that amazing?
Any other questions from the supervisors? Do we have a motion to accept the bid from Heidelberg Materials for 2,000 tons of anti-skid type AS3 with a total of $57,440?
Well, that's if they deliver, correct? 57,000?
That's if they
We
deliver.
pick it up.
Their fee is $28 a ton.
Oh, if we pick it
If
up.
we pick it up, it's 20.
It's 20?
Yeah.
Okay.
It would be 20 at 40,000.
Okay.
I'll make the motion for 2,000 tons to be approved by, from Heidelberg Materials Northeast LLC.
We have a second?
I'll second it.
Any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Next up is the feasibility study, Act 537 plan. Any discussion on this? My thought for this is to table it, because we do have to talk to Ron in an executive session. A couple questions about the ongoing litigation. So my thought is to table this and bring it back on the 24th. In fact, I'll just make that motion. I make a motion, we table the feasibility study, Act 537 plan, to the June 24th meeting. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Motion carries. New business, Portland resolution. This is Resolution 2024-13. No?
And just so I'm clear, Mr. Chair, this is a resolution proposed by Portland, not by Upper Mount Bethel.
Correct.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Portland, sorry.
That's okay, I just want to make sure that I'm not fouling it up, because God knows I've done that before.
You'll have to know.
This is, if I remember correctly, a resolution presented by Portland. Wasn't Tara present this, I believe? Yeah, this was a resolution, whether we wanted to adopt a similar resolution that declaring support for the Lower Delaware Wild and Scenic River Tributary Expansion Study Project, but Tara's not here tonight. No Tara? Okay, then I would say we table this, because we need her to see to this. I'll make a motion, we table this to the 24th.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
You should check with her and make sure she's available.
Yeah, if she can't, we'll move it back.
Okay.
But for now, we'll put it on the 24th.
Who was that again, Mr. Chair? I'm sorry, Tara, what was her name?
Mezzanotte?
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay,
you.
all those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. And then we have trucks 21, 22, and 23. Nick?
Yes, Mr. Chair. We neglected to vote on this the last meeting. We talked about truck 21. Truck 21 is now no longer in service. The other truck is going to be ready, the 3500 is probably ready at the end of the month. Truck 22 is Peterbilt, and truck 23 is a tandem Mack. We need to get a motion so we can sell them on municipal bid. All their equipment, the plows, the spreaders, and there's 4 tires actually. We want to put them on the municipal bid and sell them on the auction. So we need permission from the township supervisors to put that on there.
Any questions from the supervisors?
None of the upfitting will go from truck to truck, right?
No, the trucks that we have now, they have their own setup because they're different than the trucks that we had. We are trying to salvage some of the plows though, because they are universal. They'll fit the other Macs. We're going through that stage right now. Hoses, whatever we can get our hands that we could utilize with the other plows. But the other items, we can't use them.
So have truck 22 and 23 already been replaced, or do we have something?
They're all been replaced.
Okay.
Yeah, they're all will be. We have 2 more tandems coming, and we have like I said, it's in the shop. 1 tandem is in the shop, in the outfitting shop.
Okay.
And the triaxle is in the outfitting shop, so there should be during the day.
And the truck 21 was the 3500 that we...
We were replacing it with that was a Ford 2500, and the front end is shot, so I don't want the guys driving it. So we took it out of service actually from today. It's not in service anymore.
Okay. I'll make a motion for Nick to post truck 21, 22, and 23 on the list.
Okay. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Marty?
Nick, where's the funds, the proceeds from the sales of these, where are they gonna fall back?
Well, they're falling back into the capital reserve fund, and then once all the trucks come in and the upfitting, we have 1 more upfitting to purchase, which is $138,000 for 1 of the tandems. 1 of the tandems completely paid for. The other truck, the 3500 is coming out of the road machinery fund. That's $70,000. But the rest of that money is going back into the capital reserve fund. But once we've completed the sale that the former board put together, that capital reserve fund needs to be closed. So that money, with the, wherever the board wants to put that money will have to be transferred. So all that money can't, we don't have it. That was targeted for new trucks. and that comes from our auditor. You and I spoke about that prior, but where they put that money into, which would probably be the general fund or the...
Or legal.
Excuse me?
Legal would be a good spot.
It could be. Again, Ron, that's up to the board. But there will be funding left over for that, from that fund. From all the equipment that we're selling and everything, so.
How much are we looking to get?
We're probably gonna, how much are we gonna get from the sale, or how much are we left
How much are
over?
we gonna expect to get from the sale?
Probably almost 100,000 from that, so. So it's, and there will be money left over from the fund, from the previous sales that we sold the other equipment. So, I mean, a guesstimate is probably 150 to 200,000 will be left over. So, and then again, we'll have to go to the board and have that transferred into one of the accounts.
Should stay in the road, exactly.
It should, well,
Okay.
it's up to the board.
Any other questions from the supervisors? We have a motion on the floor. It's been seconded. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Nick. Okay, we will open it up again for public comment. 3 minutes. Yeah, Judy, come on up. And just name and address into the mic, please.
Judith Henkel, 1752 Robin Hood Road. A question, if you please. The Tuesday, June 18th meeting about trucks, will that be streamed, or will people be able to see it, other than, will they have to come in person?
Stavros, can you make the 18th?
I can have it covered.
Okay, it will be live streamed.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else public comment? Yeah, come on up, Ron. Just name and address, please.
Same as the last time. Ron Angle, $52 million highway, Upper Mount Bethel Township. When you were sued by River Point, the Board of Supervisors was sued. The engineer was sued. Is the engineer being covered, and don't tell me this is legal, because it's not legal, it's expenditure. Is he being covered under the township's liability carrier, or under his employer's liability carrier, or his own liability?
If I could answer that, Ron, I sent an email and a request to the carrier to let me know whether they're covering Mr. Coyle or not. I have not heard back from them yet, so I don't know that answer. Now, if someone in the township knows, fine, but I don't know it yet.
But we could agree, he's an independent contractor.
Yeah, but he's,
Okay.
contracting for the town.
He's an at-will employee, an independent contractor. He's not a member of the board. But anyway, let me move on, because you'll certainly take a chunk out of my time here. You said that Mr. Cousins, who's representing you, in a sense, against your own zoning hearing board. Now, you're saying again, I've asked this, so it's on the record a number of times now, he'll get $160 an hour for litigation and research when this goes to trial, if it goes to trial.
I've answered that like
Okay.
3 or 4 times.
One
My
more time.
answer's not changing.
160?
He's 160
For
an hour.
everything, okay, so we'll see where that ends up. One of the saddest things I've seen lately here in the township is Mr. Post and the Post family have been benefactors to this township with things for the park and fireworks and a number of things. They could have used your benefit, Mr. Birmingham, because they need to add on to their plant. They provide wonderful jobs for people. If you go past their plant, it's like a golf course, it's a manicure. And now they're going to have to cut in to their storage facilities, and they'll only have one backup place to go. I don't understand why you couldn't have tried to get Portland on behalf of them. They're a town, the family lives here, the business is here, it's a great business here. Why you didn't try to get a hold of Portland to see if you couldn't have got Portland, if you were getting along well with Portland, to allow him to hook up to the Portland sewage treatment plant?
He hasn't reached out to me yet.
Because you need to reach out to you. You know all about it. You know who he is. You know what he's done here. And if you're on the ball, you know what he's applied for. Does he need to beg you to have you do something for a man who's done great things for the township?
No, he doesn't, Ron. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much for, doing something for the man. Now, I want to finish up with Ms. Ekman there. I did tell you, you will end up, you are not the Liquor Control Board. I don't know what made you think you have greater power than the Pennsylvania Liquor Control Board, but somehow you thought you did, okay? And yes, there'll be a settlement. Now it'll be put off another month that a man who pays tens of thousands of dollars of tax in this township and has a business, okay? You put him through all this stuff, loss of money, loss of whatever, okay? Now it's another month that he's got to wait. Do you understand now? You don't have more power than the Pennsylvania Liquor Control Board. Do you understand that?
Thank you, Ron, but I don't think I was alone in that decision.
You what?
I don't think I voted alone in that decision.
No, but they followed you. I watch you people. You all going, your birds of a feather flock together.
Time's up.
That was your baby. When you
Time is up. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
I'll
Your
wait
time
another
is
minute.
up.
I'll
Does
wait only another
anybody
minute.
else have a public comment?
So the bottom line is, it's coming whether or not you want it or not.
Yeah, Marty.
Marty Penner, 39 Lindsay Lane. Ron hit on this in regards to Mr. Coyle and his firm being sued by the developer. With Mr. Coyle reviewing these plans, is that a conflict of interest where we're going to need a second or a backup engineer to review those plans? Because there's a lot of things that if they don't get reviewed, they will be deemed approved within 30 days.
Ron, you see any conflict of interest?
I'm not sure what plans Mr. Pinter is talking about, and that's not meant to be a backhanded comment in. But certainly, the township engineer has to review plans within that 90-day window, or things are deemed approved, unless extensions have been granted. If the engineer believes that there could be a potential conflict, he could also suggest having an alternate engineer appointed if that's what he wanted to do, similar to what my suggestion was. But that's his call to make.
Thank you.
So, Justin, do you foresee any conflict?
No, at this point, no, I don't.
Okay.
That is amazing.
Anyone else, public comment?
That is
I have a
amazing.
point of inquiry,
Yeah.
Mr. Chair. Do we have an alternate engineer?
Well, he's worried about the people. He's sharp enough.
Who is it? Oh, yeah, Calora, yeah. Bob Calora. Okay, I don't see anyone else public comment. Moving on, announcements. Supervisor Erler, do you have any announcements?
No, I didn't.
She wants to compliment the liquor control board.
Supervisor Ekman?
I do not.
Just a couple of things here. First off, I want to say congrats to Chief Finan. Chief Finan is our fire chief for the Mount Bethel Fire Company. He's now a member of the Allentown Fire Department. So congratulations to Chief Finan for that. It's a great accomplishment, and we're just excited the service he will provide Allentown. We've seen it here in Mount Bethel, so Allentown is pretty lucky to get him. Let's see. The next community-wide ambulance meeting is June 27th from 6:30 to 8 p.m. at the Mount Bethel Firehouse. Last weekend, we had the community-wide yard sale. Speaking to a couple of the homeowners who participated in it, nothing but great feedback, better than last year. If anybody didn't have a great experience, feel free to reach out to me, and happy to try and make it better for our next one. But it's a good weekend, and had a lot of people out and about and checking out things at yard sales. Like I said, the presentation on trucks on local roads is June 18th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. It'll be, presentation is from Marvin Ta of the PA State Association of Boroughs. And then we just have to talk the supervisors on our next garbage weekend, when we're gonna do that. That is when we open up our dumpsters on Saturdays for an hour or two for those who have extra trash.
Well, there's 5 supervisors. Couldn't we count on that every Saturday amongst the 5 of you? I mean, it is helpful.
You could volunteer, Ron.
What'd you say?
All right, let's move on. Let's
I don't
move
have the
on.
authority to unlock the dumpster, idiot.
Oh.
Hey, that's what he just said. That's what he just said.
If you guys are
I don't have the
gonna,
key to the dumpster. Be quiet.
if you guys are gonna attack each other, I'm gonna ask you to leave.
Well, that's nice.
Moving onward, committee reports. Cindy, when are our next? What did we decide? Is it quarterly? Do you remember what we decided?
Quarterly,
I think we did quarterly.
Quarterly.
So, yeah.
Quarterly.
Quarterly? Okay. So we just have to figure out our January, February,
the end of
March.
June is the end of it.
Yeah, okay. So July, we'll put it on July's meeting. That'd be great. Okay, and that's it for announcements.
Can I
Cindy?
just make an announcement?
Yeah, let me go to Cindy first. Cindy, any announcements? Nick?
I personally also want to congratulate Chief Finan for a job well done. A lot of props out to you, buddy, and wish you luck. Also, the bathrooms, if anybody's gone up to the park, seen a big difference. The bathrooms are pretty much going to be done this week. A couple of small issues that we have to get done, and probably be inspected by Friday and ready to operate once we do a ribbon cutting. I want to thank Troy Mechanical. They're doing the work there. They're doing a great job. Very helpful. Always, I call them. I'm always up there. Try to be once a day to get up there. Sometimes I can't make it, but they're always helpful. Any questions? Always working and work on the weekends. So another job well done for those guys. I appreciate that. The other thing is also I want to thank Justin for painting the outside of the building, pro bono, and speaking for the township, we thank you for your volunteering and knocking that out. Sorry about the bees.
And his family. His family was there as well, so thank you, Justin.
Yeah. And finally, I'd like to thank our road crew because with Lindsay's leadership, they did an outstanding job building a septic system that probably would have cost about $200,000, and they saved us probably about $150,000. The numbers aren't done yet, but I think we spent about $50,000 on a job that at least could have been $200,000. So they did a great job. If you see them, kudos to those guys. They do a great job. We're really proud of them. And then last, I want to thank Mr. Post again for the generous donation to make this job come to fruition. And I'll let our chair talk about a ribbon cutting that we're going to have. But that's it for my announcements, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Nick. Yeah, we are going to do a ribbon cutting. I've thrown out a couple of dates to the Post, so as soon as they finalize it, I'll let you guys know. That being said, I think we are going back into executive session. It is. Oh, before we do that, I wanted to just bring up one thing for us to think about as supervisors. I've talked to a couple of people in the township about ATVs and riding them around town and everything. And what I think some ideas that people have thrown out to me is whether ATVs can be driven on local roads. They are currently, but whether if we could somehow, and I don't know if this could be done, Ron, but it's just something I want to throw out there, whether permits could be issued where the town would know what ATVs are out there that are allowed to ride on local roads, maybe make sure they have insurance, that, you know, that their ATV is somehow considered safe. I just wanted to throw that idea out there.
Okay.
So we can, why don't we put that at an upcoming meeting, let's say the first Monday in July, or the second Monday in July, so that'd be the 8th, right? Or am I wrong? No, the one before. Yeah, put it on for the 8th. Okay, so that's it, just something for the supervisors to think about. Otherwise, we're gonna head into executive session. It's 8:24 PM. We have a couple of legal issues to discuss, and then we'll be back out. Thank you.
I did sign those papers.
I'll call this meeting back into order.
I'll wait till you guys go through.
Thank you. It is 8:42 PM. So we went back into executive session. We talked about some legal issues, and there is to be no action taken from our executive session meeting. That being said, may I get a motion to
You have an
adjourn?
obligation, not to tell us specifics, but you have an obligation to tell us what it was about. No names, no specifics, as I recall.
Ron, I mean, this is attorney-client privilege.
I don't want to know all that part, I just want to know what it was you discussed.
We briefly discussed the potential settlement that was discussed with respect to the Penn Jersey litigation. And again, no decision was made because the board wants the other supervisors to be present and part of that discussion. And then there was also some attorney-client discussion with respect to the lawsuit and that coverage issue that you mentioned with respect to Mr. Cohen.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
Okay, with that being said, can I get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
I will second that motion.
All those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Anybody want to keep the meeting going? All right, meeting is over. Thank you.